Interest rates are going up. Trying to get ahead is mighty, mighty tough. Bill collectors at my door. I need someone to help me raise my credit score.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Polto show. I'd like to welcome you back. I'm so excited because I was just talking to my guest before the show. But anyway, a reminder, though, next week, Dr. Nina Silver, the author of the Rife Machine, The Cure for Cancer. Now, tonight, we got a really good show tonight, and here's why. Let's go back to where it all began. There's an old saying in Philadelphia, if you make it in Philly, you make it all over. That's what they say. And my guest did just that. You can't forget, as you were driving in your car, and I was still in school. But I had my radio on in my green convertible on the expressway, and everybody was singing Expressway to Your Heart. Back in the school days, when the groups came into Philly, it was Janis Joplin with her Southern Comfort. On the stage, there was Richie Valens, and there was the group called The Animals. We couldn't wait until these groups hit the Philly scene. Many formers traveled in circles, and other singers and groups, as my guest did, traveled with the Beach Boys, Smokey Robinson, and his TV performances, his hit song with the appearance on the Johnny Carson Show. He was also on American Bandstand. But it's amazing how life comes around in a full circle. To those who are determined ones, well, Kenny Jeremiah is one of those determined people. And I'm proud. I'm actually proud to be a member of him. And I'm just finding out now that I did meet him at Broadcast Pioneer. I must have been in a dream world then. But we all paid our dues to this group to be there for a lifetime, and hope one day that special announcement comes to us and we get that phone call to say we are in the Hall of Fame. And my guest, I can assure you, will be there soon because he's paid his dues. Now, how I know him is because I met him in a chat room. I met Kenny in a chat room, and it was really interesting. It was on the Josie Bratton show. We started to dance. And I really thought I was dancing with Kenny. And now he's in another small world on the radio station. He's on 92, which you're going to hear about what he does. But the point is, when you could say, now he could say he was on the Pearl Polto show, and I could say he was on my show, because there's many groups out there that come and go and leave us. And they're separated, like Diana Ross and the Supremes. Well, when you leave your group, sometimes they make it bigger, which Kenny did. We're going to find out today where he's been since Expressway to the Heart and all that. And it's a true pleasure to have him on as a guest, not just in the chat room, but I'm going to say, to introduce Kenny, I'm going to say, Kenny, can I have this dance?
You may have the dance anytime you want, Pearl. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I just have to make one correction.
Go on.
Okay. We did not appear on American Bandstand. I know it says it in the bio,
yes,
but that was a mistake. We were on the Joey Bishop show.
Well, can't we say it?
Time.
Can't we say it?
Oh, well, we can say it.
We can say it. Let's say it anyway. Let's say you were on the AB show.
Okay.
Now, you're just telling me that I met you in the broadcast. Was that
yes.
The luncheon?
Yes, the luncheon that just passed. Yes.
Unbelievable.
The tribute to Dick Clark.
Unbelievable. Well, Kenny, I want you to tell the people now. It's your show right now. I want you to tell the people from the Expressway to Your Heart. What have you been doing from that moment on?
Well, I never stopped performing. When I left the Soul Survivors, which was in 1969, I formed another group, Roman Candle, which went on to be a Vegas act, and we did a movie. Then from there, I went on with Shirley Goodman, who was Shirley and Lee. She had a hit in the 70s called Shame, Shame, Shame. I didn't record it with her, but I did all the personal appearances, the European tour. I appeared with her in Italy and represented the United States for the International Song Festival. So I had that. Then when I left there, I joined a group called Full House, which became the #1 lounge act in Atlantic City for 15 years. We were Bally's Casinos home band. We were their house band, and we did that. Then I formed a group which I presently have. I have 3 groups. I have a group called Jeremiah Hunter, and we're appearing in the casinos right now. We're at Harrah's every Sunday this month, except for the 13th, and the lounge. And I have a tremendous trio called Kenny Jeremiah and Bittersweet. And then I have Kenny Jeremiah and Patty D, a duo. So I'm just busy working. And again, you mentioned Cruising 92.1. I'm on every Tuesday night, 10 to 11. And I do a show called Good Time, Old Time Rock and Soul.
We have a lot of friends in that group, you know.
I know.
We have an awful lot of friends. Jerry Blavitt, we have Valerie Morrison. There's a lot of people in that 92. I've never got there. I don't know why, but I've never been a part of that group. And it's interesting.
It's a great radio station.
Yes.
It really is. They give everybody a chance. They're playing, like, for example, Charlie Gracie recorded a new song. I recorded a new song. Some of the old acts that have new music, they gave us a chance to be heard again, which you never do. I mean, none of these other stations play it. Once they put my song in rotation, it started to take off. Now it's in Europe. It's all over the United States, and it's doing great. I just got some great reviews today.
Wow. Tell us about when you were in Philadelphia.
When I was in Philadelphia?
Yes. You lived in Philadelphia, correct?
We moved. We were a New York group that people didn't realize. That's where we were originally. But when we started to get popular, all our work was in Philadelphia, so we moved. I lived on 8th and Fitzwater in South Philly.
South Philly. Good old South Philly.
It was a great place, great apartment. The whole band lived there. And our landlord was Tommy Follietta.
Congressman.
Great man, really. I think I told you earlier, I used to pay him at the end of the month. I'd give him the rent money, and there was a bar right across the street called the Third Down. And I'd meet him there, give him the rent money, put it on the bar, and we drink and eat all night.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You know, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Janis Joplin and Southern Comfort. Well, one night when she was with Big Brother in the holding company and I was with Soul Survivors, we were doing a concert together. And she got me drunk on Southern Comfort. She went on and did a show. I couldn't sing. They put me in the corner and left me there.
She fell many times on the stage. When I seen her, she fell many times on that stage with that Southern Comfort. I mean, I'm surprised it didn't kill her back then.
That was her drink, yeah. And I've just been doing good things, Pearl. I'm thankful to we have a lot of mutual friends. Bonnie Natalie, who is just...
She is the president of your fan club, am I correct?
I call it a friends club and not a fan club because I don't consider, when the people come out to see me, they come out, they spend their money, that's a friend, that's not a fan.
Okay.
You know, so when Bonnie wanted to put the page together, she wanted to put the fan club, and I said, no, make it a friends club. But Bonnie is one of my number one friends. She is just a tremendous person. Yeah. She really is.
She's doing a lot of work for you behind the scenes, huh?
Oh, God, yeah. And another guy, Chuck, Ken Koistra?
Yes, yes.
Another
super nice guy.
Tremendous supporter. I mean, I'm so grateful to all these people. Ed Hurst is a good friend of mine who does a lot for me.
Does he really?
Oh, yeah.
Really? He's still coming on strong. You know, I'm so proud of this guy. Ed Hurst, I mean, he just goes on and on and on.
He's a living icon.
Yes, yes.
And his producer, Don Hurley, they have a radio show called the Steel Pier Radio Show. It's on WPG.
Do you know Alan Price?
I'm sorry?
Do you know Alan Price?
I do
from
not.
Texas? The disc jockey from Texas?
No.
Okay,
I'm
he's
sorry.
coming on my show at the end of the month, you know.
We got to get Ed Hurst on your show.
Yeah, I would love to get Ed Hurst. They gave me a whole list, and there's not just Ed Hurst. There was another person that did the bunny hop of Bandstand. I can't remember his name, though, but he moved to California, but I'd like to do a Skype on him. And he originated with the bunny hop. But Ed Hurst, yes, I would like you, I like to contact him because talk about icons.
I'll call Don Hurley, his producer, who is my dearest friend. And Don and I do a lot of things together. He comes and sees me all the time. And yeah.
How does that work? How does that work? You're performing in New Jersey now, correct? At all the casinos. At the casinos there. Does
Yeah.
that take you to different states, or what happens there?
Well, recently, being traveling all over the world. When I was with Shirley, I did the European tour, Soul Survivors. I lived out of a suitcase for years. I mean, I've been doing this 55 years. I've been singing professionally, and lots of times I never even had an address. When my mother was alive, I used to send her money so she could do bills for me because I had no address. Once I came and settled in Atlantic City, most of my work was here in Wildwood. It's in Philadelphia sometimes. But I'm not interested in traveling unless something happens with Only You, my new song, and it looks like it's gonna. Then I would do something. But to travel just to play a club or something without the momentous of a hit record or a popular record, I'm not interested in that.
Okay, because you've been there and had done it, and have you done it all? Have you done it all so far, or you're not done enough? In other words, I always say, I've been there, did it, done it, but I'm still not done.
Yeah, that's it. 100%, Pearl. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said to me, when are you going to retire? When are you going to stop doing this? And I said to them, when I pass away, you put me in my best suit. You give me my micro. I have a signature gold signature Frank Sinatra microphone, never been used. It was given to me from the sound man, Frank Sinatra, when he was alive, his head sound man. I played his wedding, Tom Young, and he gave me this. It's a signature Frank Sinatra gold microphone. Put that in my hand, play my CD and have a party. That's when I'll retire.
And even then you won't, because look at Ed Hurst. I mean, a lot of them aren't retiring. But I do remember that. I remember being on the expressway, and I had a green Firebird. I was in school. And I was actually going down the expressway, and we would put the top down and sing that song, and we didn't care about the traffic. So you made our day. You made everybody's day in the high schools with it. So it was interesting, and I'm surprised that you didn't come back with that, something like that.
Well, we did, but our timing was bad. We waited too long to put out a follow-up. The follow-up song was actually better than Expressway. It was called Explosion in My Soul. Okay. It was a better song, but it sounded exactly like Expressway, and it didn't. If we had put it right on the heels of Expressway, it would have gone, but we waited too long. And that was, the group was having a lot of internal problems at that time.
Okay, are you better doing fast songs or slow songs now that you're on your own?
I like both, Pearl. I have, in fact, if people go to iTunes and put in my name, there are 5 songs on there. There's 3 ballads and 2 fast songs. One is an original, and they're out. They're released. And I have just a whole album that I'm getting ready to release. So I like
nonstop. Actually, it's nonstop. People in the music business, are they just dedicated, or they just, I often wondered. I was in the music business one time, and I talk in front of people with books, but when it came to singing, they had to turn out the lights. Frank Virtue's studio had to turn out the lights. I'm serious. They had to turn out the lights because I couldn't sing in front of the people, and yet I could talk to 1,000 people with my books. And I often wondered, like Eddie Hammond and all these groups out there, where do you get your energy just to go on and on and on? And do you keep your voice? Do you keep your voice, or does that have to be practiced through vocals or whatever?
Well, a voice is like a muscle in your arm or in your leg. If you overwork it, it gets strained, and you have to rest it. I have remedies that I do. I had a great vocal teacher. He was an old opera singer, and he taught me correct breathing. And he came to the casino one time, and his rule was no drinking, no smoking. Sat up in front while we were playing, had a glass of scotch and a cigar. And my partner at the time in the band said, "That's your vocal teacher?" You know what they say, do as I say, not as I do.
Not as I do. Isn't drinking, though, and smoking, doesn't that wear out your vocal cords?
It's not good for them. It's not good. for your vocal cords. And like you said, you got to take care of. It's my instrument,
Hmm.
and I do take care of it. You know,
And that's your living.
it's my living.
So would you do this 7 days a week, 1 day a week? How often do you?
I do it as, let me say this, as many times as I can.
Okay.
It's hard to find work right now. I mean, we're in a slow period.
And the casinos are pretty empty, aren't they? Now, today.
Yeah, we worked last Sunday night. We worked there, and we had a great night. Um, but when you walk in the streets of Atlantic City during the wintertime, it's always been a one-night town in the wintertime, Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been like that. Even when I first started in the casinos in 1981, it was like that.
Did you ever think of going back to Philly with the casinos that there are in Philly? Because there's a lot of groups that are coming back, the Parks Casino, or
Great.
you
I
know.
worked there last year. I worked at opposite Jerry Blavitt, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Jerry and I go back, and nobody knows this, but unless I think it's in his book, he owned part of Expressway at one time. When yeah, he owned part of the record label. I think he put it in his book, and then Don Kirshner, who was like on top of the world at that time, music producer, wanted to take the record and release it on his label, and Jerry's partners didn't want it, so Jerry got out of there. But that's how far Jerry and I go back. And I was working with another band, David Christopher Band, which is great.
Well, that's wait a minute, David Christopher. That's the one I was telling you about with the exceptions.
Oh, that's David. Well, that's David. But you said somebody else.
Okay, David Christopher is my cousin.
Well, David and I just got off the phone with him. David is my dear friend.
Oh,
I play in his band. Sometimes he'll call me. He needs a front man to do, more of the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
okay.
And in fact, I'm part of his band. We do a thing called the Nifty 50s Oldies Band in costume with a set and a record hop. And I'm part of that.
Mike
So,
Nice is trying to bring back the 50s. You do know that. You know Mike Nice from the broadcast,
I
correct?
know Michael Nice. In fact, I told him, you bring anything back, I want to be your MC.
And I'm sure he's going to have you because he's bringing something back.
I know.
I don't know what he's bringing, but he wants to bring a dance party back to the city of Philadelphia.
Dancing on Air.
Dancing on Air. Well, Dancing on Air has been out there, but I was trying to give him suggestions that the kids aren't dancing today. He needs another generation or something, you know?
Yeah, well, you know what, too? Today's music is a little, I don't know. I don't want to be negative, but let me say this. 10 years from now, you're not going to hear anything that's on the radio now.
Exactly.
You won't hear it
Exactly.
as a standard. You can go back 50, 60 years, stuff that Sinatra recorded, stuff that in the 50s, all these Greek, Bobby Darin and all these great guys recorded, and you'll still hear them 10 years from now
Hmm.
because they were good songs. The stuff that's on the radio now, I'm sorry. And I don't want to be negative.
Well, it's not being negative. It's just being honest right now because I've always said that. If you had to choose an era, you want to choose the oldies. Why is there oldies stations on the air forever and ever? And
Right.
and you know what it is? I don't get it though because the kids of today, there's no really dances. There's no, you're not looking forward to a weekend. You're not looking forward to that hop. You're not looking to the bunny hop, whatever. You're not looking forward to it. There's nothing to look forward to today for the children today.
Well, you know what's funny, Pearl? Sometimes I'm in a club, or I work down in Wildwood at a restaurant called La Piazza, which has a great lounge, and younger people come in, and basically this restaurant is, I don't want to say an oldies, but more of a classical 60s, 70s thing. And we're playing these songs, and these kids are in front of me singing the words. And I said to them, how do you know that these songs, they're 40 years old, 50? He said, well, my parents, I used to listen to them, and I remember them. So, and they like them. They like the songs, so that's encouraging.
It's encouraging because, yes, even when I was a kid, I was listening to my parents' songs, back then. But you never forget. You never forget the songs that you're in school with or you're riding in your car with or you're dancing with. So you never forget these songs. But you are right. Some of the kids today, I was telling Mike that he should have a dance party for all ages. Like starting with this and let the children know, hey, there's an era out there of the 60s and let them see there's dance parties 70s, 80s. This is our year. This is our era, you know, and this is what has to come back. And not dancing on air, so many people are going to watch it, and yet if you raise a red flag to say, come on, kids, come on in and dance, you're going to be on television, just like the bandstand, they're all going to come back.
Well, I agree with you, 100%. I agree with you. One of the musical director from that show, from the hit show, Dancing on Air, or the music entertainment coordinator, was Danny McEwen, another dear friend of mine. And he's still around. He's producing Billy Paul, Dee Dee Sharp. In fact, they're working on a TV show now. And but that music never goes away. Never. It's good music. That's it. Sinatra, I love singing Sinatra songs.
No, I love Sinatra. I love Sinatra. There's so many groups and singles. Well, naturally, Frank Sinatra, Marvin Gaye. I mean, I think I got all his albums. But people don't forget. They don't forget, like you, they're not going to forget that Soul Survivor. And no matter where you go, I'm sure they're going to say, oh, I remember. I remember. And this is what it's all about with the music business, though. But I just can't figure out, like, you have a CD out now, correct?
Yes, I do.
And
I have, I have a song that's doing really well. It's called Only You.
I heard that one. Beautiful.
Which is written by Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff, who wrote Expressway. And Expressway, by the way, was the forerunner of The Sound of Philadelphia. That was their first big national hit, which gave them the open door. Then they began to do the Stylistics and everybody else out of Philly. But
yeah,
that's it.
You're mentioning groups out of Philly. Why the Stylistics?
Blue Notes.
Yes, the Blue Notes.
Triumph.
Oh boy, unbelievable! They all came from Philly. See, they all came from Philly. I always say, if you make it in Philly, you're going to make it anywhere. If you've been in Philly, you're going to make it anywhere. Even though it's, you know, I hate to say it, but the thing is, the groups today, you know, they're from all over. And they're not making it. They're in and out because I always say, if you make it in Philly, you're going to make it anywhere. And you did.
Well, here's the thing, too. Before The Sound of Philadelphia, you had Cameo Parkway Records. Frankie Avalon.
Bobby Rydell.
All those guys came from South Philly,
yes.
Right from Philadelphia.
Yes.
So yeah.
Chubby Checker, he lived right down the street from me.
Yeah, Chubby Checker, everybody.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many icons of. When we come back, we're going to take a little commercial now. When we come back, we're going to find out where his future is going to go, and let's see where he's going to go from here. We'll be right back.
There's nothing more disruptive and annoying than getting an automated call to your cell phone. There are laws against companies using computers or recorded messages to call you on your cell phone without your permission. This is consumer protection attorney Carrie Flitter. You've heard me as a guest on the Pearl Polto Show. There are consumer laws in place that prohibit many of the unwanted calls to your cell phone. If you're receiving unwanted or unauthorized calls, whether collection, selling products or services, or otherwise, you may be entitled to have these calls stopped and to collect money damages that the law provides. If you're getting unwanted or pre-recorded calls to your cell phone, contact us, the Consumer Protection Lawyers at Flitter Lorenz, at 888-668-1225. That's 888-668-1225, or online at consumerslaw.com. That's consumers with an S, consumerslaw.com. If we accept your case, the bad guys pay our bill.
Welcome back to the Pearl Polto Show. Our guest today is Kenny Jeremy. He's been out there from Philadelphia to the Soul Survivors, all the way up. Now he's in Atlantic City. Kenny, 92.1. What do you do there? Are you a disc jockey?
Yes.
What do you do there?
I have a program called Good Time, Old Time, Rock and Soul. And I'm on Tuesday nights, 10 to 11. And we do a great job. We do a little rock, little soul. I'm with a guy named Pepper Paul, who is a well-known DJ on that station also. And it's a great thing. People call from Europe. I get calls from England. I get emails from California, Florida. Bonnie Natalie's always listening. I always hear her, and I always do a shout-out for her. But yeah, I program my own music also.
Now, how do you get it from England? I mean, how far does this radio station
It's on
go?
the internet.
Okay.
WVLT.com.
Okay.
So
How about the
stream
radio? How about the radio?
92.1.
Okay, it's 92.1 on the radio, right?
Yeah,
It's AM or FM?
FM.
Okay, it's FM. And then you're on the internet besides that?
WVLT.com.
Okay, so then this is where people all across the country, the world, can hear you.
Yes, it's World Wide Web, which is such a great thing right now. You know, you can reach out and touch so many people, and I do. And I get a good response because I'm not boxed into anything. I can play whatever I want. I do a brokered show, which means I pay for the time, and that way I pick whatever I want to play, as long as it's in the parameters, not weird stuff. And I don't. I play rock and soul, so we do a little bit of rock and roll. Like last night, I opened the show with Billy Idol, Rebel Yell, and then I did Teddy Pendergrass, I Don't Love You Anymore. So, you know, rock and soul. I did it. Luther Vandross, You Got Me Going in Circles, that kind of stuff.
Do you have these people on as a guest?
No. Well, I can't have Teddy anymore.
No.
If I have him on, we got to be worried.
Yeah, I know, right? Teddy Pendergrass. I'm such a great
I don't
artist.
have stars on. What I do is I'll just talk to people on the phone. Sometimes they call in and we do a little bit of chit-chat on the phone. But mostly I stick to music. I like to keep, it's only 56 minutes. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the full hour because the guy that follows you has to set up.
Yeah,
So
isn't that the truth? That's the only thing bad about radio.
yeah, it flies by. It flies
Did you ever, now let me ask you another question, which is crazy, but did you ever want to get your iPod show on television?
by. I did a television show
And?
out of Atlantic City with a guy named Johnny Patillo in the 90s. We had a very popular local show, and he was part of the Tony Orlando show. He sang with Tony Orlando. He sang with the Duprees. He sang with Danny and the Juniors. He wasn't an original member of any of these, but in the years, he sang with them. And he got his own TV show, and I was his co-host. And we had a lot of good guests on. At that time, I had a friend who was the producer of Legends in Concert in Valleys. So I would call her up and say, can we borrow Elvis tonight? Or can we borrow Garth Brooks? Or can we borrow Tina Turner? And she would send them over, the impersonators. And they would do their thing on the television. It was great. It really was.
I can't believe I met you at the broadcast and didn't even know it. That's blowing my mind. That's blowing my mind.
You told me, I came over, I said, hi, Pearl, I'm Kenny. And you said, you probably want the other Pearl. There was another Pearl there.
I know. Maybe I thought you had the wrong person, you know? I wanted to meet you, and I can't believe you met me, and then I walked away, you know? I'm telling you, but that's the broadcast pioneer with it, though. I do believe you should have a TV show because, see, you're doing the same thing that Mike Nice is doing and everything else, but you are the singer. So why can't you just put together, like, a whole group of yous? TV is cable as well. Can't you put your radio to the television?
All we need is a sponsor. I can do that tomorrow. I could do that. I have access to every Atlantic City act. They're all my friends because we're all part of that community, this community down here.
WMG, I think it's MGK, is it, in Atlantic City? The TV station?
Yeah, it's a little local TV station. I think it's right underneath the parking garage, the station.
Yes. That was my station.
That's where we filmed the Johnny Patillo show at the time.
That's where I did the Credit Lifeline show. But you are right. You needed sponsors for that, and I had sponsors. But, yes, that's where I did the Credit Lifeline show with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I think you can negotiate because if you had one of those studios and then had a dance party in there and you're the MC, or I still say contact Mike and get together to have a new dance. I'm still working on it. I'm still working on like a dance party.
Let's do it, Pearl. Let's do it.
I'm going to say let's do it because I've always said it. I've said to Mike, to Bunny Gibson, to Bonnie, I think we should have another dance party here in the Philadelphia area if it's done right. We can't just go back in time. It has to be done right.
And there's so many good acts still around that are doing it. Billy Harner. Love Billy Harner. He's calling right now.
That's why. See, he heard you. He heard you. He heard you.
We're going to let that ring.
We'll let that ring. Who knows? Who could? It's probably Mike Nice listening and saying, "We're gonna make it work." I'm gonna have to email this to Mike Nice to let him know. There are many shows. You're still strong, as you said. You know, with the music, your CD. Now, suppose you had $1 million CD on your hands with only you, and what would you do?
From your lips to God's ears. Yes. What would I do? I would have so much fun, Pearl. I would just create a whole television show and have my own radio station. I'd do everything. Let me tell you, I am so thrilled to death. I get up every morning. Thank God. First thing I do every morning is thank God that I have the ability to do what I love and to earn a living at it. There's nothing better than that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, but you know, you have to go beyond that. You have to say, I wake up and I'm saying, what can I do next? You know?
Well, I do that every day.
And then I go to the dream. I go to the dream to say, what can I do next? Because I've already done this, so I want to take it a step further. In your case, the singers of today, I think you should take it a step further. But you said you need the sponsors, the radio, the TV. I think I'm going to be sitting down with Mike because I think we have everybody here. We have all the players, and it's just we don't have it working. And cable is cheap today. Cable and television is cheap. You can get it for nothing.
And you can reach so many people with it. My idea is not really to put a dance show together, but to put together a local TV show. See, in Atlantic City, you get all the big stars come here. And when people come, for example, in the summertime on vacation, they don't meet the big stars. They come to the lounges. They meet part of the community. These bands that are playing in the lounges are part of this community. And I wanted them to be introduced. I wanted the tourists to be introduced to the locals. So I wanted to feature so many good, talented groups and musicians in Atlantic City. You have no idea. And they're world class. People come. That's what my idea for the show was.
They can't get their break, though, right?
They can't take, yeah. The difference between them and a major star is the break. They never got...
Knowing the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, survivors were in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
Yeah. And that is everything. That was everything. We tripped over it.
You know what? I always say it's meant to be then. It was meant to be with that, though. But as you said, you look at your television, all these new performers. We're getting an echo right now again. But we're getting, you have all these new performers out there, and they're trying to make their break. And then you say to yourself, why aren't they making a break? Why did I make it? It's all meant to be. It's being at the right place at the right time, as you just said it.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, when our big break came with Jerry Blavitt, believe it or not, when he had the TV show Discophonic Scene, we were a local group playing in Philly. We were popular, but we had no record. We hadn't recorded. And the Intruders were supposed to do his show. And at the very last minute, something happened and they couldn't do it. So the producer of that show reached out to us and asked us, would you come on and do the show? And we said, but we don't have a record. He said, well, come on and play live. And we did. And that's how we met our manager on that show. And then we became regulars on that show for a while. And people knew us. So when Expressway did come out, we had a fan base, and it made the record a hit.
There's a little story there. I used to go to Wagner's.
Oh, yeah. We played Wagner's. We did that, yeah.
I used to go to Wagner's and with Jerry Blavitt, and we used to have to drag our little brothers along. No, wait a minute. We dragged me and my cousin, so we went to Wagner's every Sunday afternoon, if you remember, and we used to have to drag our little brothers along. And every week, the only way I was allowed to go to Wagner's to dance was to drag our little brother along. Well, who would think, years later, that my little brother and Jerry became best friends?
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry's done a lot. Jerry's done a lot, and you gotta give him credit. And I know he does like 2, 3 shows a night,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's
two
not
hours
gonna.
here, 2 hours there, and he's still going strong. What is he? 72 now, right?
I have no idea. But
Yeah.
why is it that he never made it worldwide? Just like I don't understand that you get the Jersey, and he's in Jersey, but why not take it worldwide?
Uh, sometimes the niche you find is a comfortable niche, and
Okay,
you stay there. And he's got a great niche. He doesn't have to travel anywhere else.
okay.
He owns Philadelphia.
Yes, he
I mean,
does.
he does. Plus, he's a multimillionaire now. He doesn't have to work anymore. He does it for fun.
Well, even if you're a multimillionaire, you still have to. You're still hungry for it. We had a gentleman on last week, and he said even though he has all the money, he's trying to make it a better world, and he just does things for fun to make people happy and all. And the same with you. So it's got to be that glitch again. It worked before. I think it's got to work again. And I think the song "Only You," I think that's it. I think that's it.
Well, I'm very proud of it. Of course, I always looked up to Teddy Pendergrass. I thought he was a tremendous, tremendous
What
soul
was
singer.
his hit? What was his hit?
Oh, he had so many of them. He had "I Don't Love You Anymore,"
Okay.
"Turn Out the Light,"
Yeah. Okay.
"Wake Up
You
Everybody."
sang with him. You sang with him as well.
No, I did
You
not.
just
I
joined
never sang.
forces with him.
I just, I just looked up to him and liked him. I loved his voice, and he loved Marvin Jr. from the Dells. So if you listen to the Dells and you listen to the lead singer of the Dells, sounds like Teddy Pendergrass. The inflection is everything. So you pass it on, I guess. But I always liked Teddy Pendergrass, so that's why I chose that song because he recorded it, "Only You," and he had it out a while ago. I don't think it. I'm not sure if it was a hit or not, but I always liked the song. That's why I chose to record it. I have several.
Isn't there the Platters also with Only You?
Well, this is a dance tune. This is not the same song.
Okay.
Yeah, "Only You," the Platters is a ballad.
Yes.
It's just so-
Aren't you allowed to keep the same song or not? Patent wise?
Well, what I had to do was apply for a license to record it. You have to get permission. It's called a mechanical license, which I got to record that song. But it's a totally different song. There's so many same name songs, but different. Different in reality. In fact, the guy on 92.1 sometimes does a show with a theme, and he said, name a song that was done the same name, 2 different songs, and people call in and he plays them. So
It's amazing. There's another disc jockey. Do you have these songs? How do you promote it though? How do you promote it? Do you have a promoter or you just contact
now
release?
there you go, there you go. Bonnie Natalie
There's
is one.
Bonnie again.
Uh,
I always say
let
there
me
goes
tell
that
you,
Bonnie again.
Bristol stomping, jitterbugging Bonnie Natalie. I love her to death. But she put the page together, the Kenny Jeremiah Friends Club page on Facebook. So your listeners, if they could go there and like the page, that has that's really, the songs are there. iTunes, any place you download music, my songs are on there for sale. And they're great. iTunes has, I think, 5 of my songs right now released, and I'm getting ready to release another 5. So
Now wait a
all
minute.
have
When
to
you
do-
release them, now where do they go when you release them? Do you have to take them all over the United States to all the disc jockeys around the United States, or what do you do?
well, there's another Ken Costra. He's a great PR man. He's been sending it to California, to Florida, to Chicago. I mean, that's how they go. Before you needed a record label
Yeah.
in the early. You don't need it anymore. Josie Brandon's doing a great job, but she's promoting herself, and I love that girl. I think she's talented, sweet, and I'm pushing her too.
Yeah.
I just play her songs on my show all the time.
Well, we got some surprises for the audience in February with Josie Bratton, so just keep it up. Keep on listening to the show. We got a lot of surprises with her. There's so many talent out there, and as you said, I just mentioned one with you, Alan Parks. He's a disc jockey in Texas. And we just ran across each other on Facebook, but we ran across each other by coincidence because I called up his station to play Josie Bratton's song, and what happened was he picked up the phone, and we were talking in between songs. So he doesn't know that much about Philadelphia and all the talent that's here. That's why he's going to come on the show at the end of the
Oh, that's
month.
great.
Yeah, and at the same breath, you know, he had my song. He had my song, and he played it. And I said, "Payback time, payback time." That's why I'm having him on the show. It's going to be a payback time. But I'm going to mention when he's here if he's familiar with you.
Well, he would be probably familiar with the Soul Survivors. Any DJ in the country knows the Soul Survivors, or Shirley and Company. I sang with her. And Shirley, you remember Shirley Lee. Come on, baby, let the good times roll.
Boy, how can I forget?
Well, she had that monster hit. It was one of the first disco hits in the 70s. Shame, shame, shame.
Yes, yes.
So, and with Shirley and Company, I was company.
You were the company. See, I was walking that path. I was along the same breath because I was in the era of Frank Virtue. If you
Sure.
remember Frank Virtue Guitar Boogie Shuffle, well, he was my producer, and he's the one who produced my song. So all the parties that we had to go to, it was Hey There Lonely Girl, Eddie Holman, but they were choosier back then. A lot of them were on drugs. A lot of them, you know, came into the business and went out of the business. Stylistics, all of them, you know, they're coming back with different people now, which I noticed.
Well, some of the originals have passed. And they formed a couple of originals. Like, for example, the Stylistics. There are two Stylistics. Russell Tompkins, who was the original lead singer, he's got his own group. And then a couple of the guys from the original group formed the Stylistics. And in fact, they'll be in town the 20th at the Taj. And the reason I know this is because my keyboard player, who plays with me in Jeremiah Hunter, is their keyboard player, Stylistics. So I know that.
They were a great group.
They still are.
They still are, 100%. I have all their albums. And I ran across them I was an insurance agent, and their mother, they came into the house, and she introduced me to them. And I said, "Who are you?" You know? And when they told me who they were, they invited me to, it was a little bar they were playing at in the Philadelphia area. And when I went to see them, I thought, oh my God, they had that number one hit. And I have it to this day. You remember what it was?
La 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 means I love you.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure. You know, it's funny when
And
we
you
first
make me feel brand new.
when we first started in Philadelphia, we played a place called the Living Room, 13th and Locust,
I was there. We used to go there.
opposite a group called Harold Melvin's Blue Notes.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
They were a local band also.
Bad Luck? Was that the Bad Luck? The Bad
Yeah,
Luck of the, that was their song, Bad Luck.
And also a guy named Frankie Beverly.
Frankie
Big.
Beverly.
Frankie Beverly is very big in the soul market now, but he came from Philadelphia also.
What is your dream? Let me ask you. Let's jumpstart. What is your dream of tomorrow? And let's
What is-
see if we can make it happen. But what is your dream of tomorrow?
I would like Only You to climb the charts. That would be to have Only You be a hit record again. Because this time, it would be mine.
Okay. Now, the people out there that are listening, how can we make it Only You to the top of the charts?
Okay, well, you have to buy it. So
Now,
you
but
can
you see, all the recording, the record stores, even in the Philadelphia area, are closed. What do you do?
people download music now.
Okay.
So you go to any download site, iTunes, CD Baby, Rhapsody, Spotify, wherever you buy your music online, my music is available. Just put in Kenny Jeremiah, Only You, it'll pop up, it'll come up. And I also recorded a song called You Don't Know Me. Remember the Ray Charles tune?
Yes,
I did a version of that, which is out now. I have a song called You Had Me From Hello, an old country and western tune that Josie Brandon happens to love that one. And then I have a song, an original song called Break My Heart No More, which was done with one fantastic musician, Kit Wharton, who was Merv Griffin's musical director for 15 years. What else do I have? Oh, and a song that I dedicated to Bonnie Natalie called Move It On Over.
Move it on. That's just the one that was on the Reading studio, that the dance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the one she was saying that everybody was dancing to.
Yeah, she likes the jitterbug today.
She likes the jitterbug to that with it. So that's how people now. So the average person listening can download your music.
Yeah.
All over the world now.
Yes.
Am I
Yeah,
correct? All over.
All of those sites are national. iTunes, CD Baby, Rhapsody, Amazon. Amazon, you can download on Amazon. And what's neat is you don't have to buy a whole album to get one song. You can buy an individual song for 99 cents. 99. Are you out of your mind? You know.
But how's that going to make you rich? How's it going to make you rich? One person with 99. You need millions of them, or what? How does that work?
Well, the more you sell, the higher the song goes. So, you know, I would like that. I like to do a television show. I really would, because I had fun when I did it before, and I could help somebody else realize their dream. You know.
Dreams do come true. If you want something bad enough, they do come true. And I'm listening to all this, and that's part of my dream, is making dreams come true. But,
well, look at my dream. I'm on the Polto show.
Oh, you're cool. No, you're not only my dance partner, but I didn't forget that night. I I was jumping off the computer so many times. It was my computer, and every time I came on, you said, "You're back again. You're back again. You're back again." And
yeah, you keep getting knocked off. That's why.
Getting knocked off. And every time I came back, I really thought I was dancing on the chat room. And I thought, I love this guy. I'm dancing. Who is
That's
this guy?
a great show. That is a great radio station. Oldiesplus.com or .net. It's .net. Oldiesplus.
But you see, that's where a lot of the disc jockeys are. I think that's Alan Parks as well. I think that's his show too, from Texas though. I'm not sure, but
Dave Harvey is the guy that owns that station, and he's a great guy. And every DJ on that station is great. I mean, Josie Brandon is a DJ. That's why I fill in for her. I'm going to be on her show this Friday.
This Friday night.
5 to 7. Yeah, 5 to 7, because she's out promoting her record.
Right.
So I'm holding down the show.
You're doing it all. It's really interesting. You're doing it all, but again, Comcast has a free TV show.
I didn't know that.
I don't know why you're not getting that, because it's free.
Well, where do I find that, Pearl?
Well, I'm going to help you, because I'm going to help you with it's a Comcast station. And all you have to do is really nothing, because you just have to register and you got your own TV show.
I would like that.
And when I used to do the Atlantic City show, but you had to have a sponsor for that, which I had.
Yeah.
But then Philadelphia has the Comcast, and it's all over, and it's free. And how I found this out is a couple of my co-hosts from the WWDB went to it. Trudy Haynes went to it. And she doesn't pay for it, and she interviews me with it. So it's all free. All you have to do is get your people or your camera guys, and that's it.
Is this station out of Cherry Hill?
Yes.
I went to the grand opening of that station.
Yes, it is. They moved to Cherry Hill. Yes, they did. Because that's where Trudy had to move to. She wanted me to be a guest on that show in Cherry Hill, and I had to refuse it. But yes, it's in Cherry Hill. There's another one though in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I went to the grand opening of that with Danny McEwen from Smash TV Media.
That's it. Well, it's right there.
Okay.
Mike is trying to do something too on Ion, and that's free too.
I need you, Pearl. I need you.
That's what all the guys say.
Oh,
okay. That you fell into that one, and that was a break from my dance partner and all, though. But yeah, there's a lot of connections out there that you're not familiar with, and as I'm talking to you, I'm hearing it. Bonnie, if you're out there, you know what you have to do.
She is out there.
I know
I
she's out there.
guarantee you.
She's out
She,
there.
in fact, are you going to be at the Broadcast Pioneers this month?
You know, this month, no. I was there last month for 5 minutes, and I left, and that's when I met you, and I didn't even know it, and because I had to come back here to do the show, and but I think it's a different kind of show. The luncheon next month is I'm not going, but you're going.
Yeah, I go to most of them unless I have something else. In fact, I'm bringing Ed Hurst. I'm driving him up there
Oh,
because
interesting, interesting. Well, I told Mike the next time I go there, they better make me Person of the Year.
I vote for that. Now, the 20th of March,
Right.
I'm performing at the Broadcast Pioneers. They're having a rock and roll show.
March 20th?
March 20th.
I will be there. I will be there.
I think Danny and the Juniors will be performing. I hope they have Billy Harner there. I don't know who else Jerry has scheduled, but he had asked me at the end of the meeting that we were there in December if I would do that. And I said, absolutely, I'll do that. I'll perform.
I was going to say, why don't you ask Jerry if you can sing The Only You right there?
I am going to.
Because he'll say yes. I know it. He's the president of the company. He'll say yes.
Well, I'm going to do that.
Oh, okay. March 20th. I'm definitely going to be there if it's a rock. It's a rock show with it, and that's what I think. They're missing the points. They do sports. I don't show up at the sports. They do other commentaries. I don't show up at that. But rock and roll, yeah, I do show up at. Because this is where you're making your connections or whatever.
That's how I first got into the Broadcast Pioneers, because about 5 years ago, he did the first rock and roll show. It was me, Danny and the Juniors, Billy Harner, several other people. I don't remember now, but we performed there, and they made us honorary members, and then asked us if we would like to, because they need new blood.
Of course.
So
I wonder why.
that's how I got involved, and I like the organization. But you're right. It needs, because I always say to Jerry, you need to put a little entertainment in there, because sometimes it can be a little dry. You got like 4 or 5 speakers, and by the time you get to the 5th speaker, you're falling asleep.
Exactly, and you leave or whatever. That's why I don't go to all of them. I don't go to all of them, because the time you're eating your lunch and you have to go, and then I have to run out, and I'm saying, this is boring. And I told Jerry, it's boring. He's got to step it up.
It's a nice networking tool.
Yeah. It's a nice networking, because you're right. I agree. And it's interesting when you go to these places, you meet all the icons that you grew up with. You meet, when you watched. I'm amazed. Like you just said, Ed Hurst. How many times did we watch The Still Pier?
Right. And he's still going strong. God bless him. I tell you, I love the man. He called me. I was playing at a restaurant down here a few months ago, and I get a message on the phone. He goes, Ken, I'm sorry, this is Ed Hurst. I was out all night last night, and I can't make your show tonight. Ed Hurst calls me. And one night he came, and I said, Ed, you're here, so you have to introduce us. He gets up in the middle of the restaurant, and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the group you came to see is not here, so you got to see Kenny Jeremiah and Bittersweet. Love him.
Yeah, he doesn't lose it. He doesn't lose it.
Nah, he's sharp as a tack. Sharp.
I know. I see it. When I met with him, I have a couple pictures with him, but every time I meet him at the broadcast, I always think of the Still Pier. Those were the days. It's not there no more. It's not there no more.
We played the Steel Pier Memorial Day weekend, Soul Survivors, 1968. We were the headliners there at that time.
1968? Oh, well, okay. I was still in school then. As I said, I was driving at 16, my Firebird, and I still have it. I still have the song. I still have it. And I remember it so well. Because
it's a great song.
Everybody was in the car. We put the top down, and everybody was singing. We didn't care about the expressway. We didn't care about the traffic jams or anything else. And I got in trouble by the time I got home with everybody in my car, and they probably threw the song out. But you know what? Those were the days. And I think.
Well, I'll tell you, the first time I heard Expressway on the radio, it was on. I believe it was on Wibbage or FIL. I don't know, one of those. I was riding along. And I thought, you know what? It's not as good as anything else on the radio. I wasn't impressed about it. And I was kind of really embarrassed Funny. It's really funny. Then about 2 weeks later, I'm in New York. I'm on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway. And I'm going to pick up Charlie and Richie because they lived in the city. I lived in Queens. And I'm on this expressway in a traffic. This is the true story. In a traffic jam. I had not a Bonneville. Oh, God. It's a Pontiac convertible. I had the top down. And I'm listening to WMCA in New York. And the DJ comes on and goes, "We believe this is the sleeper of the week. We believe this is going to be a big hit." And it was Expressway. And I turned around and all these people next to me and, you know, we were like in traffic. And I went, "Oh, wow, man, I want to shout out at that. That's my record." And that's when I got to realize that this song was going to be a hit.
Yeah. It was a super hit. And it's a shame. It's a shame you can't bring it back.
Well, funny you should say that.
Uh-oh.
I recorded that song. We did a 20th anniversary with a group that I was with called Full House.
Okay.
And it came out. It was a good one. I play it on the radio. I have it. It's a 20th anniversary. We recorded it in 1987. But so many people recorded that song. Southside Johnny did a version. The Breakfast Club did a version. Oh, God, I don't know. Blues Brothers even did a version of Expressway.
But why can't the originals come back and do another version of it? Because it would sell.
They could. I'm not a soul survivor anymore, so I couldn't.
But that group is still out?
Yeah, the other two, the brothers, the other two singers, still have the name. They kept the name. And they perform. In fact, they're with Jerry Blavat at the Kimmel, I don't know, this month sometime. So they're still performing.
Well, Kenny, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough for coming on my show. And I'm going to be seeing, I'm going to check out some of the Atlantic City stations I was telling you about and the Comcast. And I'm going to get the word to Bonnie and everything else to see, you know, maybe she could do something with that. And I'm sure she can because it's all it is connections and knowing what to do. That's all it is. I can't thank you enough. But I want you to tell the people again how to get your song, how to download it, and what to do.
All you have to do is go on iTunes, or if they use any other download site, just go on the site, put in Kenny Jeremiah, Only You, and the song will come up. And you can even hear it. There's a sample on it. You can hear it. And if you want to buy it, you click on, and it's 99 cents. And the other songs, my other songs will come up where you can hear them also. So that's it. And again, please go on Facebook to Kenny Jeremiah's Friends Club and like us. Okay? And
Sounds
I like
good. Sounds
Thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you. Well,
and I'll see you soon.
Oh, you're going to see me real soon, and I'll see you at the Broadcast Pioneer as well.
Save a dance for me.
I sure will. You better believe you're going to be the first one I'm going to dance with there. But I want to thank Kenny for being on the show. But I also want to let me tell you what's coming on next week. Dr. Nina Silver. Now, if you heard of her, and I've had her on the show years ago, she's the author of the Rife Handbook, and that's the cure for cancer. You know, I had a show here on cancer. What was the cure? Well, this is the doctor. This is the doctor that wrote the handbook, and she firmly believes that this is the cure. You know, people out there, you have to open up your eyes. You have to listen. There are cures out there. We better wake up. Enough is enough. And we have to see what's going on in this country. And you want to go by the old school? You know what? I don't want to see anybody dying, but you are dying because you're not listening. I always say, you hear me, but you're not listening. This, you don't want to miss next week's show. She's got so much valuable information. We got a lot of great shows coming up. The following week after that, guess what? The theme song, Credit Lifeline, from Georgia, she's on the show. We also have Alan Parks. We just talked about him on the disc jockey from the Texas radio show. I can't wait to get him on. I need a payback time for him since he played my one song. We have a lot of great shows. We've got a lot
I'll play it. I'll play it.
You'll play it? Okay. No, you don't want to hear my song. I just send it to a lot of people in there. But Alan had it, and as I talked to him, he was playing it. He was actually playing it. He said, wait a minute, let me take a break. So he came back. So we got to the point where We have so many great shows coming up. And in February, wow, breaking news. We got a big show coming up, and I'm not going to tell you till February. So let's keep you guessing. This is Pearl Polto. As always, making the most of credit, giving credit where credit's due. This week, it's the Kenny. Get his CD. Get his
Thank
CD.
you, Pearl. Thank you.
Interest